WHGE 95.3 FM. Coming up, the Open Eye. Hey, Celeste, I see you, bro. All right.
Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure
What's up, boy?
of masturbation or deeper indignant. We do so because the chains of oppression on our people's minds are deep and difficult to remove.
Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm your host and third eye optometrist, Patrice Gibbs, here and ready to get them started. All right, got a couple of PSAs here. First, the Eastside Recovery Meeting invites you to a March for Unity in our community. Join us at any point along the way. We will march and clean up our community as we walk and talk. We will meet at 10th and Walnut Street, walk to 9th Street, make a left on 9th Street, walk down to Pine Street, make a right on Pine Street, proceed to 8th and Pine, make a left, go to Kirkwood Street, make a left and follow Kirkwood to 10th Street, where we will make a left onto 10th Street and return to 10th Street and Walnut Streets. Mission completed. Now there you have the whole path. There's no reason for you not to catch up. That will be Saturday, November 25th, 2023, 12 noon until 2 p.m. Meeting location, 10th and Walnut Streets, Wilmington, Delaware. All right, that's Saturday, November 25th. Don't miss it. Be there. The Eastside Pride Recovery Meeting, March for Unity in our community. All right. Let's get them started. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get this disclaimer out the way right quick so we can move on and get them started. I got something for you. Oh, yes, I do. Hold on. I got you. Give me a second here. All right.
The views and opinions expressed on the Open Eye.
Hey, Sister Tracy, I see you. All right.
And do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3 FM nor our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eye's hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, company, or individual.
WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. All right, let's get them going. Every generation has its purpose. Ours is to reveal the truth and reverse the brainwashing. That's what we do right here on the Open Eye. All right. This is a FYI from Dr. Raquel Martin that I very much agree with. I am not team when you go low, I go high. I am team F around and find out. I weigh the pros and cons of cussing people out every day. And very rarely is it not worth it. That's right. I will cuss your ass out. Believe that. Happy Veterans Day. All right. For those of you that get confused about what exactly Veterans Day is, I'll give you a couple of examples. Armed Forces Day is for those still serving in uniform. Memorial Day, which was founded by black people, look it up, or for those who made the ultimate sacrifice in uniform. Veterans Day today is for those of us who hung up their uniform. All right, that's right. And as I do, I'd like to give you some history. Okay, you know, what group of people are the most patriotic people in the country? What group of people that could say they served in every war in the U.S.? Every war, from the Revolutionary War up to Iraq, Afghanistan, or whatever. That's right, black people. And what do we get in return? You know what? I want to remember black veterans targeted for racial terror lynchings. Inspired to defend this country and pursue greater opportunity, African Americans have served in the U.S. military for generations. But instead of being treated as equal members of society upon their return from military service, thousands of black veterans were accosted, attacked, or lynched between the end of the Civil War and the post-World War II era. During the late and early 20th centuries, white supremacy remained law and custom throughout the nation, and many whites feared that black soldiers who had experienced the pride of military service would resist the disenfranchisement, segregation and second-class citizenship that still characterized the African American experience. In August of 1917, U.S. Senator James Vardaman of Mississippi warned that once a black soldier was allowed to see himself as an American hero, it would be but a short step to the conclusion that his political rights must be respected. Bringing black soldiers home to the South with expectations of equality, he predicted, would inevitably lead to disaster. For Senator Vardaman, black soldiers' potential as community leaders was terrifying, and the disaster would be a mass movement for African American rights. Instead, many African American soldiers returned determined to fight for their own freedom and equality. And veterans like Hosea Williams and Medgar Evers played central roles in what became the Civil Rights Movement. The effort to suppress that potential leadership made black veterans targets, and many suffered brutal violence for protesting mistreatment or simply wearing their uniforms. In August 1898, a black Army private named James Neely was shot to death by a mob of white men in Hampton, Georgia, for protesting a white storekeeper's refusal to serve him at the soda counter. In Hickman, Kentucky, a recently discharged black soldier named Charles Lewis was lynched in uniform. Lynched in uniform. In December 1918, just weeks after the end of World War I, Mr. Lewis was standing on the street in his uniform when a white police officer began harassing him and claimed he fit the description of a robbery suspect. When Mr. Lewis insisted that he was a soldier with no reason to rob anyone, the officer accused him of assault and arrested him. The next morning, a mob of white men broke into the jail, seized Mr. Lewis, and hung him. Black veterans of World War II also faced violence for the most basic assertion of equality and freedom. In August of 1944, the white owner of a small restaurant in Shreveport, Louisiana, shot and wounded 4 black soldiers he claimed attempted to take over his place. He faced no charges. In June 1947, a black Navy veteran named Joe Nathan Roberts, studying at Temple University through the GI Bill, was visiting his family in Sardis, Georgia, when a group of white men became upset because he refused to call them sir. Later that night, the men abducted Mr. Rogers from his parents' home and shot him to death. The very next year, on September 9th, 1948, a group of white men shot and killed a 28-year-old black veteran named Isaiah Nixon outside of his home and in front of his wife and 6 children, just hours after he defied threats and voted in the local primary election in Montgomery County, Georgia. 2 white men arrested and charged with his death were later acquitted by all white juries. These and countless more black veterans served bravely in defense of America, only to face terrible mistreatment, violence, and lynching when they returned. In November 1942, while stationed at Camp Polk, Louisiana, Private Merle Monroe wrote a letter to the Pittsburgh Courier describing the black soldier's struggle to maintain a sense of patriotic pride in the face of lynching. Paradoxically enough, he wrote, "Our country spends millions annually in effort to build up Negro morale, both in and out of the Army, yet foolishly destroys the blueprint of his program by tolerating brutal killings without even a pretense of a fair trial." This year, as we observe Veterans Day amid ongoing national debates about racial inequality and police brutality and protest and patriotism, we honor the long tradition of African American veterans who have struggled and died in a dual battle, fighting abroad in defense of a country and fighting at home to make that country a place worth defending. 75 years after they were first published, Private Monroe's words still ring with a hopeful truth. Morale to the Negro, as with every human being, is like yeast to bread. Morale puffs us up with love and pride for our country. It puffs us up with the will to fight, to resist, to change by force to our way of life. Morale is in a broad sense, is knowledge and understanding of and faith in the high principles our country is supposed to represent. The right to live our lives unhampered by strings of prejudice. The right to earn bread, a place in the sun for us and our posterity. And with those necessary stimulants, we black soldiers will resist with every inch of our stature any threat to our country's laws that must protect our rights during periods of tranquility. You know, I hear those words from Private Monroe, all right? Yes, I hear those words, but any threat to our country's laws that must protect our rights during periods of tranquility is just not a reality for the African American veteran. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. Brother Ray, Steve, I see you there. All right. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. This is Patrice Gibbs. America is the land of the free. False. America is the land of the largest prison population in the history of mankind. That's how you get, and how do you get there? Okay? Prison is big business. That's how you get there. I saw this guy ask, if you could add one amendment to the Constitution, what would it be? And when he answered that question, of course, what he was thinking about, how so many people go into politics, especially when they reach the level of congressman, senator, and president. They go in with, maybe a good salary or a business. Some of them may have salaries in six figures and what have you. But they all leave Congress rich. As government must be only a position of public service and not enrichment, not financial enrichment. Every member of Congress, this should be the amendment that should be added. Every member of Congress shall henceforth and in perpetuity receive no more compensation in any form from any source during the tenure of their term than a yearly salary equal to the annual median income of the citizens of the state that they represent. Let me read that to you again. Let that sink in. Then I'm going to explain. Every member of Congress shall henceforth and in perpetuity receive no more compensation in any form from any source during the tenure of their term than a yearly salary equal to the annual median income of the citizens of the state that they represent. I bet you the goddamn minimum wage will go up there. You could believe that. Yeah, you could believe that. Of course, that amendment would never be added. These rich, greedy bastards in Congress and these crooks in the Senate and these elitists that sit in the White House would never allow that to happen. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs. All right. You often hear me talk about religion. What was the true religion of we Africans before Christianity and Islam were brutally and tortuously forced upon us? I want to thank Brother Hameen for this. It was not a religion. It was a spiritual system. Nor did it include a Messiah. Because an all-knowing God does not need a middleman to speak to him on your behalf. When did God open up the sky and declare one religion over the other? When did he open the sky up and say, hey, y'all got the right book? It taught every individual spirituality to seek their own direct interconnection to the Most High. A personal oneness that is established between the inner mind, the soul, and what we describe as God. It is an experience that no two individuals may necessarily describe the same. Some may say that it speaks from above. Some may say it comes from within. Some may also say that it comes through the mind, while others say through the heart. It doesn't matter because in our true belief system, they are all correct. It is our own individual oneness with the Most High. Mm-hmm. But of course, those that adhere to the Bible would tell you different. And more likely than not, what's up, Brother Jardea? And more likely than not, would condemn you for not reading the Bible, for not accepting what's in the Bible. Okay? I broke this down to you before, but I'm going to give it to you again. This is for those that say, well, I don't read the King James Version of the Bible. I read the New Language English Version. It was translated from the King James Version. Cut the crap. Let me tell you about the King James Version. The King James Version of the New Testament was completed in 1611 by 8 members of the Church of England. There were and still are no original text to translate. The oldest manuscripts we have were written down hundreds of years after the last apostle supposedly died. Now, there are over 8,000 of these old manuscripts with no two alike. The King James translators used none of these anyway. Instead, they edited previous translations to create a version their king and parliament would approve. So, 21st century Christians believe the Word of God is a book edited in the 17th century from the 16th century translations of 8,000 contradictory copies of 4th century scrolls that claim to be copies of lost letters written in the 1st century. Did you catch that? I'm going to say it again. 21st century Christians believe the Word of God is a book edited in the 17th century from 16th century translations of 8,000 contradictory copies of 4th century scrolls that claim to be copies of lost letters written in the 1st century. That's not faith, that's insanity. And that's how you get stuff like this. Check this out. Because they just knew that they were being given the word of God, or carrying the word of God. Okay? An Alabama couple was charged for allegedly operating a multi-million-dollar pyramid scheme targeting who? Black people in the name of the Lord. A federal grand jury has indicted an Alabama couple for their involvement in a nationwide scam. The two are charged with operating an illegal pyramid scheme that defrauded thousands of participants of more than $10 million. LaShonda and Marlon Moore, with a name like LaShonda, we know, are charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering. LaShonda and Marlon Moore, they allegedly defrauded victims by coercing them to join an illegal pyramid scheme promising riches through their company. Blessings in No Time, which is named in the lawsuit filed jointly by the Federal Trade Commission in the states of Arkansas and Texas. According to the Department of Justice, if convicted, both the wife and husband face a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison for each wire fraud count and 10 years in prison for each money laundering count. The Moores told those who signed up for their program that they could expect 800% guaranteed returns and guaranteed refunds. But complaints filed by thousands claimed that this was not true. Yolanda Robertson, a Georgia native, claimed to be a victim of the Moores pyramid scheme. She informed the courts that she had invested her last remaining funds into the program during the pandemic, hoping to replicate her friend's success in making easy money. Robinson stated that her friend had participated in the program and received $11,400. However, her experience was different. When she didn't receive any returns on her investment, she requested a refund as her home was on the brink of foreclosure. According to Robertson, her pleas for a refund went unanswered and she never received any reimbursement. The Blessings in No Time company was cloaked in the welcoming rhetoric of a faith-based institution that invited people during the COVID-19 pandemic to invest for a quick return. The intricately tiered so-so system was set up with levels based on nature's elements. The hell does that mean? The Moores allegedly organized Bent's payment scheme with playing boards that had 8 fire positions, 4 wind positions, 2 earth positions, and 1 water position. As alleged players in the fire position advanced on the board by paying at least $1,400 to the person in the water position and recruiting 2 new fire level participants, at which point the cycle will repeat. 8 new participants were needed to join the scheme before the initial person could receive a return on their investment. So see, what you had to do was you had to recruit more people so that the money will trickle down from the top of the pyramid. That's how that works. The couple allegedly positioned themselves and their family members in the water position across various boards, allowing them to receive payments from participants in the fire position. Additionally, they amassed a significant amount from the monthly user fees paid by participants, which were mandatory for participation in Blessings in No Time. Now, how many times have we heard this? People getting hustled by those faith-based groups, by those claiming to be from the Lord, and the Lord is going to see to it that you prosper. That's where you get this prosperity doctrine at in some of these crooked churches. And you got a minister riding around in a Mercedes, living in a $2 million house or whatever, right? and the people in the congregation are barely making ends meet. That's not called a religion, that's called a cult. Somewhere you need to get the hell out of. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Oh, pretty good yourself?
I can't complain. Yeah, buddy. All right.
Vic showing up today?
I don't think so. He had to go to his NRA training or class.
Okay.
Yeah, sir. Mm.
Yeah, he taking that real serious.
Yeah, yes he is. Yes he is. WHGE 95.3 FM. You know, I saw a recent debate about black people getting patents. I want to tell you about this black lady that got a patent. Mm. And her accomplishment affects us even now. Alice H. Parker was an African-American inventor famous for her patented system of central heating using natural gas. Okay, in the 1920s, using natural gas to power a heating furnace was a revolutionary ideal that conserved energy and paved the way for central heating systems we all have in our homes today. Parker's patent was filed on December 23, 1919, for her heating system invention. Her design allowed cool air to be drawn into the furnace, then conveyed through a heat exchanger that delivered warm air through ducts to individual rooms of a house. The concept of central heating was around before Parker was born, but her design was unique because it used natural gas as its fuel instead of coal or wood that had been previously used. Parker is said to have been inspired for her design because she felt her fireplace was not effective enough in warming her home. Necessity is the mother of invention. All right. Her home in the New Jersey winter, she just wasn't, the fireplace just wasn't getting it. Her invention was convenient because it meant that people did not have to go outside and chop or buy wood. It also decreased the risk of house or building fires that heating units pose by eliminating the need to leave a burning fireplace on throughout the night. I can't tell you how many houses burned down behind that. Although her initial designs were never used, her ideal that natural gas and ducts could be used to heat different areas of a house was a major step toward heating systems today. Now, very little is known about Alice Parker's life. She was born in 1895. She grew up in Morristown, New Jersey, and attended classes at Howard University Academy in Washington, D.C. The Academy was a high school connected to Howard University, and in 1910, Parker earned a certificate with honors from the Academy, which is, no surprise. Parker's filing a patent was a remarkable milestone, as she was an African-American woman in the early 20th century, since her filing for a patent preceded both the Civil Rights Movement and the Women's Liberation Movement, which subsequently removed many of the barriers that women of her generation faced. At this time, African-American women had very limited opportunities, and Parker's receiving a patent for her invention during that time was truly unusual and outstanding achievement. And our women continue to achieve. And what that does is, of course, scares the hell out of white people. Because not only do our women continue to achieve, but what they do is they open doors for others to achieve. I'm going to continue with that in just a minute. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. All right, Teresa. I'll see you on next.
I said I was going to surprise
Hey, what's up, my nigga?
you.
Yaga. Chop, chop, chop. Now big ups, big ups. Okay. Wow. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs, joined on the air by my partner in consciousness, Nsoromma. What's up, brother?
What's up, bro? Chop, 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 chop.
All right, all right.
Good
How
morning,
you doing?
girl. What's happening?
All right, all right. We get ready to get something going here.
Right.
All right, now you heard me just talk about Alice H. Parker.
Uh-huh.
All right, and the accomplishments that she's made and the accomplishments that black women make.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of the Fearless Fund?
The Fearless Fund? I can't say I have.
Okay. For those of you that have never heard of the Fearless Fund, I'm going to get ready to break it down here for you.
Right.
All right, because a lawsuit was filed against the Fearless Fund. What the Fearless Fund is, okay, it is a fund that was put together by some black businesswomen, okay?
Right.
And what they do is, because black businesswomen have such a hard time obtaining financing,
Okay.
what the Fearless Fund is award them a grant of $20,000, okay, to invest in their business.
Okay.
It's a grant. All right.
Do they have to pay it back?
A grant, no.
Grants don't have to pay back, right?
They don't have to pay back.
Okay.
Okay. And because this grant is targeted towards black women, what do we get?
Defunded.
Yeah.
What?
What we get is some scary ass mayonnaise brigade, mayonnaise mafia fools with their racist asses took them to court and said it was racist to fund black women from this fund.
Well, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Other groups can fund their people,
I mean,
but since black women are doing it, this is racist, and they took them to court for it.
wow.
And go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And a federal appeals court blocked the venture capital fund, which is the Fearless Fund, from moving forward with a program that awards funding to businesses run by black women.
I think that's so crazy.
In a case by the affirmative action activists behind the successful U.S. Supreme Court challenge to race-conscious college admissions. Now, this guy, Edward Bloom, the Atlanta-based 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals on a 2-to-1 vote granted a request by Edward Bloom's American Alliance for Equal Rights to temporarily, what's going on over here?
I got you.
But to temporarily block Fearless Fund from considering applications for grants only from businesses led by black women. Okay, Edward Bloom, like I said, of the American Alliance for Equal Rights. That's a phony ass title for his organization. Edward Bloom is a racist son of a bitch. Don't get that mixed. The American Alliance for Equal Rights. No, what it is the American Alliance to keep black people down.
That's crazy. They don't never do nothing for black men, period. So
Period.
I ain't even
Never
heard of
black women.
Exactly. So
You know?
it's messy, man.
Now, Bloom's group asked the court to do so, to block the funds, while it appealed the judge's Tuesday ruling denying it a preliminary injunction, blocking Fearless Fund from moving forward with its racially exclusive program. That's what they call it. It's called racially exclusive because they're targeting black women who can't get financing through regular channels.
Right.
That's why this group was created.
And the regular channels is just as racist.
Of course.
That's why they wouldn't be able to get the finances. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And they come up with this, and now he going after that. They'll tell you how racist he is.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
Now, the
messy.
judges in the majority of the U.S. Circuit Court judges, Robert Luck and Andrew Brasher, agreed with Bloom's group that Fearless Fund's racially exclusionary grant program likely violated Section 1981 of the 1866 Civil Rights Act, the Civil War era that bars racial bias in contracting.
Wow.
So they went all the way back to a law enacted or an act enacted in 1866.
When racism was in full effect.
In full effect.
Come on, man.
You know.
I don't get these people, man.
Yeah. You know. And what they did was they used that, you know, to say that, well, this is racially exclusionary. Mm-hmm.
But then, right, you got grants that just go solely to the Caucasian.
Of course.
And you don't see any people coming together from the black side trying to put in petitions and all this stuff to stop them from giving their own people money.
And not only that, because, and as a rule, it's because we don't even know about it.
Right.
They keep it under the table.
Right.
Okay? And let me remind you about these two judges.
Okay.
What was their names? Wait a minute, I got it right here. Robert Luck and Andrew Basher. Both of these bastards were appointed by Trump. U.S. District Judge Thomas Thrash earlier this week concluded that under the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment speech protections, Fearless Funds has a right to express its belief in the importance of black women to the economy through charity. But the appeals court majority, comprised of, like I said, 2 Trump appointees, said the First Amendment does not give the defendants the right to exclude persons from a contractual regime based on race. Mm-hmm. And of course, Bloom, you know, what this Bloom dude does is he finds anything that benefits black people, he finds that offensive. And what he does he uses tricknology, all right?
What it's called now?
Tricknology.
Tricknology.
Yeah, he uses tricknology and came up with a name that is nothing but tricknology.
Right.
You know, the American Alliance for Equal Rights. The American Alliance for Equal Rights for whites and damn everybody else.
Yo, man, that tricknology, that wordplay is serious.
Yes, sir.
What is it? What?
WHGE 95.3 FM.
Open eye. Yaga. Yo, Steve, what's good? Tracy, yo, Fawn, I see you. Miss Bob, what it do? You know what I'm saying? Jardale, us, I see you. Yo, it's official because he's anti-black. That's right. Exactly. I mean, most of them are anti-black. You know what I'm saying? So, we always in a fight, son. Always. I mean, why we got to fight for some water? And it's our water.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'm good with this. WHGE 95.3 FM, like Brother Jardea said, it's anti-black.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, they don't want us to have anything, okay? And their fear is if we rise up, right, what they're really afraid of is that we're going to get a position where we're going to be in control because we rose up. And then with them being not in control,
right,
okay, what that means is we're going to be in a position to do to them what they've done to us.
But we won't. We don't think like that.
Exactly.
We don't care about them. We won't even pay them no mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? We don't pay them no mind now when they doing all this stuff to us.
No.
So if we start responding, oh man, it's gonna be pandemonium.
Yeah, you can believe that.
You know, I'm serious. They don't want that.
And it's where you get stuff like California cop resigns. At the police investigation reveals 10 pages.
10?
10 pages.
Wow.
Of disgusting, horrible, racist text messages.
10 pages?
10 pages. Mark McNamara, yeah, resigned from the San Jose Police Department after the investigation unearthed his racial text messages. McNamara is also the sorry-ass cop that shot Quan Green, a black man, in March of 2022.
Wow.
Green appeared to make racist comments about Green's, wait a minute, McNamara made racist comments about Green's legal team in his text messages. McNamara, a 6-year veteran of the San Jose Police Department, resigned after learning of the investigation. So they shouldn't have let him resign. They should have fired his ass.
No, they should have locked him up. And then went back and got all his cases from the 6 years he's been working and then checked them out to see if he did anything foul within any of his cases. They don't fully go through the process that they would for a black person if they was in that position.
No.
You know?
No.
And that's
because what they do is when a white person is in that position,
Right.
they find an excuse for him.
Right.
Okay? What they do is when a black person is in that position, they try to dig up as much dirt on him as they can.
Right.
If they have to go back 3 generations, they have to go back to the time he stole a Snicker bar out the goddamn corner store. They bring that crap up.
Yeah, and that's
Knock his
crazy,
ass
man. I have to laugh it off. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Yeah.
I'll be wanting to respond. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, listen.
One of the things he said is N-words wanted to carry a gun in the Wild West. Not on my watch.
Here it is.
Yeah.
And then this is the same department that you go, oh, in case of emergency, I need help.
Yeah.
911. Can you send out the racist guy for me?
Yeah. You know, you send out the cops, and what happens? The cops get there,
And
yeah, my house been burglarized. Oh, you burglarized your house. And next thing you know, they done pulled out and shot you in front of your house when your house was the house that got burglarized.
And you called for it.
And you was the one to call for
Right.
it.
And they don't have no sense of,
Empathy?
Yeah, not even empathy. The know, okay, I'm going to check your story out.
No,
I'm going to see if you're telling the truth. Who can verify what you're saying?
Right.
None of that pops in their head.
No, you know what happens?
What?
You know what happens? The only way that is verified, the only way that has credibility is if your white neighbor comes over and says, hey, he lives here.
And it'll still be skeptical.
And then they want to call him an N-word.
Yeah.
WHGE 95.3 FM, the open eye. Almost said
Boy. Yo, yeah, that's what it do. We under attack by the very people who are asking to invest. You know what I'm saying? Almost definitely.
Man.
Sometimes they invest to take your stuff. They put all this money in and then get so much money in the pot, and then they say, all right, the pot is mine now. And then, you know what I'm saying? And they got all kind of tricks for us, bro. That's why we got to stand on our own 2 feet.
Yeah.
Protect ourselves and let's go.
WHGE 95.3 FM, the open eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma in the building. Yo, who music is
all
that?
right. That's mine.
That's Mr. Gibbs.
Yeah, that's Mr. Gibbs.
Y'all hear that? That sound nice, bro. Yo. Alright, I just give him a taste.
It's called Pat's Ice.
Pat's Ice.
I was cold on him that day.
It still is cold, bro.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Freezing.
Yes, indeed. Have you ever heard of Noam Chomsky? Professor Noam Chomsky.
Nah, he sound Chinese or something.
No, he's actually, I'm pretty sure he's Jewish.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But this cat, he brings some righteous stuff.
Okay.
He will break it down.
Okay.
And he does it in such a calm manner. And I'm going to break it down like he did. This is how he explained what's going on.
Okay.
There's a standard procedure that has gone on since 2005. A truth accord is established between Hamas and Israel.
Right.
Hamas lives up to it. Israel violates it. Never keeps up to it.
Wow.
Finally, Israel escalates this violation. This elicits some kind of Hamas reaction. That's the pretext for the next act of what Israel calls mowing the lawn.
Mowing the lawn?
Mowing the lawn.
Oh, mowing the lawn. Okay.
Another major attack, each one worse than the last. The 51-day war was the worst so far. That's the regular procedure. Then comes the Western propaganda. You know, poor Israel is attacked by rockets. What can they do? They have to defend themselves. It works very nicely. You get that? I broke that down for you last week when I gave you the hornet nest analogy. All right? Hamas is like a hornet's nest. Israel with a stick keeps poking and poking and poking at the hornet's nest.
Right.
And then when the hornets sting your ass, now you want to run into, with the propaganda. Oh, hornets are awful. Hornets must be killed. And that's
you
what
was
they
the
do.
very one to get them roused up.
That's right.
Yeah,
And I got another quote here. So I'm break it down for you. This is from Kwame Ture, who you may know as Stokely Carmichael. And listen to this clearly. Zionism is a political philosophy which has brought about the state of Israel, the so-called state of Israel. This political philosophy has nothing to do with religion.
Okay.
On the contrary, it seeks to confuse others and let them think that Zionism and Judaism is one and the same. It is not. I am a conscious African. I know properly my history.
Right.
I know that Africa gave Judaism to the world. I know that the first Jews in the world were Africans. Not only do I know this, but I inform everyone who has doubts about it to read a book by Sigmund Freud entitled Moses and Monotheism as a beginning.
Okay.
Consequently, I know that Judaism and Zionism are not the same. Zionism had its first organizational expression in 1897 in Basel, Switzerland, in Europe.
Okay.
Here was a man by the name of Theodor Herzl. That's Herzl.
Theodore Herzl.
Herzl.
Oh, okay.
He was the founder of Zionism. He said he was going to find the state that God promised the Jews. Listen to this very carefully. This Herzl was an atheist.
So atheists mean don't believe in God.
He believed there was no God. He said
Okay.
God did not exist. Now, how is it the man who believes that God does not exist is going to find the state that God promised to his chosen people?
I mean, he don't even believe in God.
I tell you, this man is Satan in disguise. Zionism is a satanic movement. It is devil. It is imperialism. It is racist. It has gone and taken the lands of the Palestinian people and through terrorism has driven them out. And through terrorism, it maintains its power in the United States of America with over 6 million homeless, sends Israel billions and billions and billions of dollars everywhere to bomb Palestinian people while homeless people are here and unemployed are here. Zionism is going to raise this war and make the people of America become clear to what it is and become anti-Zionist and stop the aid to Israel and use the money to take care of the homeless in this country. That's from Kwame Ture.
Thank you, bro.
Now,
Nah.
the power of Israel. This is even deeper. All right. I know a lot of people feed into conspiracy theories about the Rothschilds and the Jews control the world and they control and that sounds really ridiculous and how dare you say something like that and what have you. Okay, let me explain something to you.
Explain it, bro.
Okay.
Explain.
Any criticism of Israel is termed anti-Semitism. Okay.
And that's what killed me, because they talk about everybody in the world. And you don't get no what you call it?
Accountability?
That too. But no
Backlash?
yeah. You get no black backlash and, from hearing it about other people, and then when it's time to talk about their situation and their stuff, it's like they cut the media off. You don't get no media play. It's like they controlling everything,
Right.
like Kanye said, basically.
Right. Okay. Now check this out. Okay.
What?
I am not a conspiracy theorist.
Okay.
All right. But when I see certain things going on, you gotta speak to the truth of that.
Right.
Okay. And here's the thing. Several states
Right.
have enacted laws, okay, that if you protest against Israel, if you protest for what has recently come to the fore,
Right.
and that's to put sanctions on Israel, okay, there's a movement, it's called the BDS movement. Okay.
They stay doing stuff with us.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, BDS, what does that stand for? I forget what it stands for. But at any rate, any corporation okay, that supports protesting Israel and calls for the divestment
Right.
from Israeli companies,
Right.
okay, is termed anti-Semitic. And to go a step further, if one of your employees participates in protests against Israel,
Right.
you're termed anti-Semitic. Now states have enacted laws that if you or a corporation that participates in BDS in what is it something I forget, divestment sanctions against Israel, whatever the BDS stands for, I forget, like I said, okay, but if you do this, you are termed anti-Semitic and your government contracts could be cut off. So if one of your employees does this, so what companies have done to protect themselves from this accusation is when you get hired, you have to sign a contract that you will not, have not protested or criticized Israel here in the United States.
Wow.
And several
That's crazy.
Several states throughout the United States have adopted this.
Yo, that's crazy.
And the Supreme Court declined to review the Arkansas Times legal challenge to an Arkansas law requiring government contractors to certify that they are not boycotting Israel or Israeli-controlled territories. The denial leaves in place a previous ruling from 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, which held that boycotts are not expressive enough to merit First Amendment protection. You can boycott Delaware, you can boycott in Pennsylvania, you can boycott the governor of Arkansas, you can boycott the president, you can criticize the president, protest against congressmen and senators, but you cannot say a goddamn thing about Israel.
Now, how that sound? That's crazy.
And that's law in several states.
And I was like, isn't Congress the only ones that can bring new laws in?
Yeah.
So how are these states turning their ruls and
they're individual states
into laws?
Yeah, there's states in that law, which is why it was taken to the Supreme Court. It may be a state here in Arkansas, but it might not be a law in Delaware. Okay.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. So how could they do that if they don't have the power to make it a law?
No, they have the power to make it a law in their state.
Oh.
They can't. So they're right. It's not a federal law, it's a state law.
Oh, okay.
Which means it's germane to that state, not across the country.
So if that particular law is in that state is going against the federal law,
it should be turned unconstitutional.
It's unconstitutional.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Because blocking anyone from protesting, which is free speech, is unconstitutional.
Right.
But the Supreme Court, with a bunch of conservative, racist bastards, won't hear that law. Won't hear it.
Yo, bruh, they do the dirt to us, man.
Yes. Yes. Now, let me say this, because we
okay,
time,
get
that's
up,
okay.
Get up.
All right. And you've heard me say this before, but I want to reinforce it because we learn by repetition. No one is allowed to call Jews in Israel on their crap. If you do, they cry anti-Semite and declare the whole world must denounce you. After all, they were victims in the Nazi Holocaust. How long is the world going to play this game? Israel is one of the worst criminals against human rights in the world. Israel is one of the most xenophobic, most racist countries on the planet. The Israeli Prime Minister has ordered all African refugees out of Israel because their darkness damages the Jewish character of Israel.
Say that again, brother. That's ignorant.
It gets worse.
Oh, dude.
The Israeli Prime Minister has ordered all African refugees out of Israel because their darkness damages the Jewish character of Israel.
And we were the first original Jews.
Yeah.
And they want to run you out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Furthermore, one of their ministers or politicians or whatever the hell this devilish hussy is.
And it's a girl?
It's a female.
Oh, my God.
Okay. I wouldn't call her a woman or a girl, it's a female something. Okay. Said that the greatest threat to Israel are young African Americans.
Oh
Where
yeah,
the
I
hell did
seen
she
that.
get that?
And she did that
Yeah.
in front of the board or something. Yeah.
Yeah. We're here in America. We ain't over there in Israel.
Yeah.
We're here in America dealing with our own crap. With police brutality and this, that, and the other. We ain't got no rockets.
Right.
You know? We ain't got no tanks.
Wow.
We ain't flying over there in no jet doing the damn thing to them. But we're the greatest threat.
And I suppose, how is that?
Mm-hmm. Well, since the Jewish people seem to have forgotten what it is like to suffer death and destruction and be treated inhumanely by a racist government and racist populace, why should the world bother to remember their Holocaust? They don't. It's that BS. It's that false teaching. And it's written in their own book. Read Galatians 4:24. It states these stories are allegory, meaning mythology. Abraham never existed, so neither did Isaac, Ishmael, Jacob, whom God named Israel, nor any of his goddamn descendants. What the hell is the Bible? The Bible is stolen African history, Hebrew mythology, and an instrument of Roman European control.
Wow.
Understand that. Know who you are. Be a student of African history.
And what killed me is that all the names that's in that book or whatever, you know, you can always go to the grave site of a real person that was buried. You know what I'm saying? Well, that none of the people names in that Bible is. You can go to their grave site
And find the tomb. I seen the tomb of Ramses. I seen the tomb of Tutankhamun. I seen the tomb of Imhotep. Show me the tomb of Jacob, whom God named Israel. Show me the tomb of Solomon and David.
They can't, bro.
They can't because they're not there.
Wow.
All right.
They got us bamboozled, ragamuffin, led astray. Malcolm X.
Yep. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
Nsoromma in the building.
And as we always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority.
Who treat you as an option.
Thanks for joining us.
Y'all got, yo, what's good? The boy he goes in. Yo, he goes, he go in. Yo, North Side for life, Yorkie Deezy. Yo, what up, Ron? Hey, yo, Jardale, good looking out. Tracy, thank y'all for tuning in. You know what it is. Hey, yo. Your boy was a little late. You know I got 17 jobs, but I'm here.
WHGE 95.3 FM would always tell you. Global African supremacy.
Yup.
Because the world was a much better place when the black man ruled. Peace.
All right. Yo, you know what it is. One love. Now, yo.